Hello, hello, everyone. It is Sneak Peek Live #1 for our upcoming Adventure Awaits release. I know that you guys in the chat are as excited as I am. We have been dying to show you all of this good stuff. It is good. We're all really excited about this release. Hello, Carol, always rejoicing. I see that we have some newbies in the live tonight. And the comments are going so quick over there. I have missed it. Hello, Dawn and Kelly and Sandy. Beth, hello. Betsy, Joanne. Oh, Puget Sound. I want to come sit with you on the Sound. I miss Washington. Hello, Tanya and Nancy. Let's see here. What did I just missed it? Always rejoicing is stoked for this release. Me too. We're all really excited. Hello, Shanna and Tabitha. Martha, hello. Let's see. Cat Scrapper, hello. Norma. Okay. Catching it while you drive. Don't run off the road. Hello, Belinda. Okay, so we're going to get started here. Some of you, if you were in Crop and Create, may have seen part of this before. There's going to be some new things that we're adding in, some great new pattern paper, some great dies. I'm going to work with a couple of new layering die sets tonight that's super exciting. This card this evening is going to be geared a little bit more masculine, but I'm going to show you some examples at the end of the live tonight. That you can, and how some ways that you can make it more feminine, and also some ways that you can blend this with some items and products that you may already have. So without further ado, I'm going to go down to my desk view. We're going to get started. And while I'm getting started here, I want to tell you about the giveaway that we're going to do at the end of the live. We always do a giveaway, and you could be in the running for the giveaway just by commenting over there in the chat. So hello, everyone that is popping in. Okay, so first, let's give you a look at some of the beautiful new pattern paper. I'm going to be using this pattern tonight as a background on my card. You can see it's very outdoorsy, lots of greens and stems and things like that. If I flip this over, it's going to give you another look and another little frame that you can put things in. But tonight, I'm going to use this beautiful greenery right here. And then let's go and look at one of our layering frames dies plus a brand new embossing folder that's coming out. So first, I will show you in the color that I am choosing to use tonight. And both sides of this is so pretty. You could use both sides. Okay. So the layering frame, you can see that we're leaning way more masculine with almost kind of a shield or a badge or something like that. Now, you can't see it in this die cut, but it does have all that great like detail and stuff that is pressed around the edge. I have just used a brand new embossing folder. If I tilt it in the light, you're going to pick up and see all the amazing detail that this 3D embossing folder gives you. And when I tell you it is amazing, like it is amazing. Let me flip it over. Look, even the backside is beautiful. Like I just don't even know what to say about this embossing folder. Do you see all the beautiful trees in the background? So much texture. And so I'm going to kind of layer these two together, and then we're going to work on what's going to go on top of this. Okay. So I'm going to set these aside. We're going to get to that here in a second. Here are those trees before I get too far, and I have to look to see which side is the pretty side because they're both beautiful. Here it is in craft. But you can see, you know, how pretty. Just so much great texture. I'm going to use the green, but it's pretty in craft too. Okay. Layering dies. First thing that I'm going to do is I am going to build a spot for our new layering bird to rest. This is a tree stump, a layering tree stump that's going to fit right in with all that outdoorsy stuff, the adventure that we have going on. Now, if I hold this up in my hand, let me see if I can catch it correctly in the light. These dies are going to give you all that amazing detail that we're used to in our Lovely Layers dies. And then we have the top layer. And again, we've got all that swirl and the wood grain and all the things like that. So I'm going to ink blend this first for a place for a bird to rest. I've got a bunch of Distress Oxides out here, and I am going to start with my cut down or my tumbled over stump here with I want to do walnut stain. And so I'm going to pull my darkest brown out and ink up my brush. And I'm going to start at the bottom. So I'm going to start ink blending here, and I'm going to make it really dark and rich right towards the bottom. And then I'm going to work that walnut stain all the way up my tree stump here. And I can just really bear down on those bristles to get all that beautiful color in there. And all that texture you can see there when you ink blend onto that, all that texture that is pressed into the paper is really going to pop out with that color. So I'm just going to keep working that here, and I'm going to flip it around, and then let's give the top side just a little bit of darkness here. And then I'm going to call that all good. Look how pretty that is, and all that dimension that we're getting there with those embossed lines. Okay, now let's work on our little topper piece. And I could probably just set that down, and I'm going to go just light-handed over this with the same color. So again, we're getting lots of pretty dimension and using one color of ink. Now let's put that right over the top, and then you can see how we're going to get that great layered look. We have a lighter top where that tree has toppled over or it's been cut down or whatever there. And then I think I'm going to call our tree stump like all ready to go. So I'm going to do a little white down here. Now, for the exciting part, we need to have something to go on our tree stump, right? So I'm going to create for you an ink blend, the new Lovely Layers Owl. And I'm going to lay all my pieces here. And some of our friends that were in Crop and Create have seen this. It was an exclusive there first, and so we're bringing it out for all of our honeybee friends now. But at first glance, this owl looks really involved. But I have to tell you, once you start building it, it is really not. Now, in the Lovely Layers Owl die set, there is a branch or a twig or something that you can perch your owl on top of. Okay, so that comes in the die set. And then we're going to have a whole big die set that has other wood pieces that are in with the stump. Okay. All right. So we've got our owl here. So I'm going to start working on our owl. And I always like to start, I'm going to kind of move my little pieces over here. I always like to start with my base layer first, and we can kind of see where we're going. Now, with all of our Lovely Layers dies, whether you're working with one of our birds or this owl, anywhere that you have embossed area, just like this right here, that is going to show in your final layering when you layer up your dies. And so I'm going to color in his feet. I'm not going to do a whole lot with any of this, but I am going to work on his little face just a little bit. And I'm going to take, let's see, I think I'm going to do gathered twigs. It's a lighter brown for his little feet. I'm going to rub some of that off, and then I'm just going to start working that up as we go there. And I'm going to call that good. That's as far as I need to go there. And then we can start working on his little face and his little horns. And I'm going to pull in pumice stone, which is a really warm gray. Let me find my brush. Same thing. I'm going to rub a lot of that off. And then I'm going to start up here towards the top and then work that down over his little face. Kind of darker up here on those little horns. And then work that down into his face. Okay, that doesn't look like a lot of color, but it's going to be really pretty as we start layering this little guy together. All right, so our next layer, we're going to work on this layer. You can see we're getting lots of great feather details here, and we're starting to get some areas cut out in his little face. I'm going to lay this aside. I'm going to lay this one down. And then we're going to start working on his chest area. I'm going to pull in pumice stone again and do kind of like an all over base. Let's see here. Oh, Melissa must be in the house here. All right. And I'm going to start off of his body and start working it on into his little chest. Just like that. And that's going to give him a warm gray color. Just like that. Right up his little body. Just like that. And then I know because all this area, which is going to be his wings and his tail, those are flat. That there's nothing pressed into that. So I don't need to spend a whole lot of time blending that. I do want to add a little bit of color up here on those little horns. And then I always like to take this and then layer the two together because we're going to be able to see what we're going to get. So you can see his inside of his face is colored really well. His chest is starting to look good. Now let's bring some other colors into his little chest. So let's pull in, I think I want to pull in the gathered twigs again. Just a little bit of brown, like right on the edge, very lightly. Pull that in, and that's going to blend in and look really pretty with all his little feathers right along the edge. We can pull in a little brown right there on the tips of his little horns, just like so. And if we layer him together, we can kind of see how this is turning out here. Okay, I'm going to lay those aside, and I'm going to start working on his wings. Now there's a larger area of a wing, and then there's a part that layers over the top. So I'm going to start down on the lowest wing, and I'm going to start pretty dark here. I'm even going to go with the gathered twigs, which is that darker brown that we used on the stump. And I'm being a little more light-handed here. So I pull this up, pull it up right on the edges. Next, I'm going to pull in the pumice stone, which is the warm gray. I'm going to start off, and then I'm going to start just working that in to the brown. Working it down in there, and that's going to blend it all together, just like so. And then if I really want to richen that up, I can take my black soot brush. I'm going to flip this over just because it's more comfortable for me. And I've got it on my brush, and I'm going to take it right along those edges, and I'm going to really deepen up and richen up some of those end feathers there. Brown. There we go. Okay, now let's see how our little guy is looking here. Okay, so I'm going to layer that up. I'm going to layer this up. Really easy to layer together. Okay, do you see where we're going here with our owl? See how pretty he's going to be? Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how we're going here for this wing. Now let's work on the uppermost wing, and as you can see, there are no flat parts. Every bit of this part of the wing is going to be shown in the final owl when we get him all put together. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful when I blend it on because there's not going to be any way to hide anything. So I'm going to give him like an all over coat of pumice stone, which again is that really nice warm gray. It blends really well with all the browns. And I'm just going to start with that all over coat of that warm gray. Now let's start pulling in and give it some color and some dimension and blending in those feathers. This is gathered twigs. I'm going to pull that up a little bit. Right there, that would be under his wing. We can do the walnut stain, darken up a little bit around the edges and right at the tips, the end there. And then I'm going to layer this together and I'm going to see how we're looking here. Okay, so this is how we're looking so far. And I may add just a little bit right down here. Let's take the black soot and I'm barely gonna hit that edge, tilting my brush over almost on its side. And then I like to layer together again. Just like so. And then I can kind of get a look at how we're looking here. Okay. So I'm liking the way his wings and his little chest and everything are looking. Okay, so I'm going to set those aside and I'm just going to start working here on the areas of his face. Okay, so this piece of his face is going to be the undermost piece. I'm going to kind of scooch him down so I can show you. So this is going to layer here. You can see this right down in here is going to show. I don't want it to be stark white against his really warm kind of gray feathers. So I'm going to pull in that pumice stone and start just kind of giving him an all over wash of the pumice stone. Let's lay that down. That's looking pretty good, not too shabby. And I can take this and darken just right under his chin a little bit. And then layer that back on. And then I'm liking how those feathers are going to lay on his chest there. Okay, we're looking good. All right, now for this little mask piece of his face. All right, I'm going to hold it and I'm going to tilt it just a little bit. You can see all the detail that's in his face. So this is the layer that has his eyes impressed into it. And there are little dies that I have over here for his eyes. He's got all these pretty feathers on the top of his head. And then this is also the piece that we're going to eventually, I'm going to show you here in a minute how I color in for his beak. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down. I'm going to take my gathered twigs again, and I'm going to darken up areas, pull it down in here. I'm going to do these little side feathers on his face, side feathers there. darken up, pumice stone to pull in that warm gray. Just like that. And let's pull in. Okay, now I'm going to layer this over on his little face, and I'm going to kind of see what direction we're going here. There we go. Okay, so you can see how that's all going to kind of layer together. You see his little eyes? It almost looks like a cat, almost, actually. Okay, so I'm going to leave that as is. And then we've got kind of this funny little section that looks like a funny little something, like almost a branch or something like that. And I'm going to color this one in the pumice stone. I'm not going to let it get really dark because I kind of want it lighter on his face, just like that. Okay. I'm actually going to take my black soot and go just around the tips, just like that. Okay, I'm going to call it good on that because I could literally play in the ink all night long and dress him up. Okay, so now let's work on his eyes. And I left the eyes in the die on my little piece of paper because I am an eyeball loser on my desk. So I'm going to pop these out. I'm going to actually leave that kind of, if I can get it to stick right there. I'm going to pop them out on my desk. There we go. Put this in my dish. And they're both flipped over correctly. And I'm going to do gathered twigs for his eyes. So I'm just using the ink that's already on the little brush. And I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to pick these back up again. If I can pick them up. Come on. And I'm going to set these aside so they go on here in just a second. Okay, so now here we go. We're going to start putting this little guy together, and you're going to see him come together like magic. All right, let me look at the comments. Let's see here. I'm having that mat just for the purpose of not losing my tiny pieces. I love this mat because it kind of holds everything in place while you ink blend. I'm going to darken his ears just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to add adhesive on the back of what's actually the second piece. And it doesn't take a whole lot. And then I'm going to lay it down. And then I'm going to have wiggle room and time to get everything in place. Just like that. And we'll press everything down. And then next up is his bottom wing. So I'm just going to add some little dabs. Super easy to line up. So you're going to want to line it down here at the point of his tail. And then up here at his shoulder blade. Just like that. You can see where we're going here. And we can take his top wing. Little dots. And then this one is going to be lined up here on his shoulder blade. And then it's going to tuck right in down here. Okay. All right. What do you guys think so far? Do you see the owl coming together? He's so pretty. Okay. Now I'm going to start working on and layering his face. And this bottom most layer that looks like he's wearing a little beard is first. So I'm going to lay that right over the top. And I actually see some white on his face right there. So I'm actually going to take my blending brush and do just like that. Okay. Here we go. He's looking handsome. Okay, now we're going to take his little area of the face that has his eyes on it. Just like that. Little touch of adhesive. And I can flip it over. And I'm actually going to pick it up to get everything kind of shimmied into its spot. Oops, that's my eyeballs. Let me see if I can find my tweezers or my dye pick. Okay, just like that. Shimmy it around. Okay, his little face is coming together. Now let's use, there we go. I'm gonna use my tweezers here for this funny little piece of his face. And this fits right in above his eyes. Almost looks like he's got little eyelashes. And he's very serious. He's a very majestic looking little owl. Okay, now we've got to dress him up. All right, the first thing I'm going to do before I get too far is I'm going to take a black gel pen and I'm going to give him some little eyes here. Just like that. And then I'm going to draw in his beak. And he's really going to start popping out. Okay. I'm going to lay my gel pen aside. Now I can do his little eyeballs, or the color part to his eyes. And I'm going to barely dab my adhesive. And then these have a little part that they fit right in there. They sit right into the die cut. If I can let it go with my tweezers and my die pick. There we go. But you can make his eyes yellow or blue. I have an owl to show you here in just a minute that he's got blue eyes. But yellow eyes would be pretty. You could literally color him any way that you wanted to. And I've got some pretty examples to show you. Okay, that one nestles right in there. Okay, he's looking good. But you could do this out of solid color cardstock or pattern paper. Little tiny patterns look really pretty with the feathers, like a linen or a burlap is really pretty. I'm going to add our little topper to our stump here, just like that. And now I can take my black gel pen again. I can get rid of that tape now. There we go. And I'm just going to go over some of those little embossed places. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. Maybe a couple right there on his tail. White gel pen. You could use colored pencils, whatever you like to use But I like flicking these little gel pens because they really do have, they look like little feathers down in there. His face is looking pretty good. I don't want to add anything around his face. Okay, now let's see how he's looking here. Okay. All right, what do you guys think? Let's see, is that gel pen a 5? This one is, I'm not for sure. This may be just a standard size. This white one is a, I'm not for sure, but we've got these at honeybeestamps.com. You could look on the website and it will tell you. Okay, let's see here. So sharp. Okay. We're doing good here. So I'm going to move this out of the way, move that out of the way, and I'm going to start connecting my background. Okay. So I'm just going to use the liquid adhesive kind of on the high points, or the back side, it would be the low points of our beautiful trees here, just kind of scraping over. And I'm going to flip this, and then we're going to lay it down and line it up. Now this die that this kind of looks like a shield or something like that, that comes out of our new, I can get it lined up here and picked up, a new layering frames set. Everybody has really been loving all of our layering frames. And so our newest set goes really well with some more masculine themes and cards, really a little bit more of a harsh line and harsher corners, so to speak. Okay, now let's see how this little guy is going to rest on here. Okay, do you see how he's so majestic and he just pops off of there? All right, so I'm going to move him aside. I'm just so excited to put him on a card. Okay, I'm going to layer that up pretty well. Just a craft card base. And you know what? I want to stamp on this first before I put everything down. So I'm actually going to pull out my Misty. And I'm going to remove one stamp and remove my scrap piece I have in here. And we're going to stamp on the inside. Put that down. Let's get my magnet out here. And I'm going to stamp. This stamp says "Another Year Wiser." So it's going to be hard to see here for just a second until I get it stamped. And I'm going to stamp this on the inside of my card. So I'm going to pick that up, and I'm going to use walnut stain. Let's see here. So there's a sentiment set that goes perfectly with the owl. As you can see, we have "Another Year Wiser." See if I don't make a mess here. And then I'm going to wipe that down because I'm going to have to use it here in a second. And I might as well stamp my next sentiment. Let's see here. And my magnet has gone AWOL, but that's okay. But I'm going to stamp "Happy Birthday." And then the inside is going to say "Another Year Wiser." Okay, let's do that. I'm going to flip that over to get the, and I'm going to use some VersaFine ink. I'm just going to stamp this in black. And let's do a little tap, tap, tap. Looking good. Tap, tap, tap. There we go. I'm going to set this aside. And then I am going to zoom out now just a little bit. Now that we've got all the ink blending and all that done, okay? All right, now for those of you that were in Crop and Create, you probably saw the sentiment, but now we've got coordinating dies that go with the sentiments. And we've got more beautiful paper. We've got extra little stump and places for our owl to rest and land. I'm going to pull out my Bitty Buzz cutter here, and I'm going to cut this out. Just like so. Yes, the font in this stamp set is a little bit more masculine. It's bold. And then the inside one that you saw that I stamped, Another Year Wiser, it's got a great mix of fonts where it is, you know, a great just basic and then the scripty. Okay, and I'm hoping that that is dry. Let's do a little tiny like cleanup. Let's get rid of that. Put that down. Now I'm ready to stick this puppy down. Just like this. Line it all up. There we go. I'm going to give that just a little press and let that glue do its thing. And now we're ready for this guy. Okay, I think I'm going to glue this flat. And I want to do the happy birthday. I'm going to pop it up just a little bit. I'm going to use one of these narrow foam strips right down the back side. And I'm going to put it right down here. I'm going to set it down and not press it quite yet. I want to make sure that it's all nice and lined up straight. That looks pretty good. Now let's do our wood stump, our tree stump. And I'm just going to hold my fingers there and let the glue connect with all those lumps and bumps of the trees underneath. While that's drying, let's see, looking forward to seeing how all the other birds that have been released will look on that stump. I bet they'll be cute. I haven't tried them yet, actually. We've been so busy getting samples and everything done for photos and for videos that I haven't even played with the other birds on the stump. Okay, I'm going to flip this little guy over. And then we can pop him down right about there and squish that foam down. And then I'm going to kind of hold it up. So cute. Okay, now, are you guys ready to see some more examples of owls? All right, let's see here. All right, so there's tonight's quick owl. Now let's show you one that is done with solid colored cardstock. And you're going to get some sneaky peekies here, okay? This one is all done with like solid colored paper to show you that he's pretty even without all the ink blending. Okay. And then that is that limb. This little guy was done in pattern paper, like really, really fine pattern paper. See all the different looks to the owl. Okay. We've got a pink owl, way more feminine, mixed with some of our lovely layers greenery, totally different sentiment. You can see the same pattern paper back here as we used on the one this evening. So you know you're going to see some beautiful pattern paper in our paper pad. More feminine. This is a more feminine frame that we have here. This is one of our older layering frame die sets. This is our winter greenery. And then this is another look, all started in white paper, just like this one. Started with white paper, but this is gray and blues. You can see his blue eyes in there. So totally different looks. And I even have one, if I can find it, that I did for Christmas. A snowy owl. And all I had to do was nip his little horns off. And we have a snowy owl. See how cute they are with all the little greenery pieces and all the things? But lots of fun. Lots of fun. Okay, let's see here. Let's go over here and let's split the screen. Okay. Let's see here. Love the snowy owl. Oh, everybody's liking that. Love how versatile it is. It is so fun. Pamela, the embossing folder wasn't shown. Just the green background. We'll have to have her hold it up again. Yes. Okay, so let me go because it's easier to see if I do it like this. All right, so here is, you can see all the trees in the background. Here it is on craft cardstock. Okay, if I tilt it like this, it really shows all the dimension. See all those beautiful trees? Like we've got like a whole forest back in there. And if you wanted to start, you know, a forest on white paper or on craft cardstock, you could always do, you know, little techniques where you know, lightly do your green brushes over the top. Let me see what it does. I haven't even played with it, but I bet it's pretty. Okay, so that was just quick. But do you see, like when you start doing little techniques and things, how pretty that's going to be? And this is just craft cardstock. But this is what he's sitting on, just cut in green. This is a magnificent embossing folder. Like those of you who loved our dogwood embossing folder in the spring, this is a good one. Really, really good one. Okay. So I hope that that helps. Let's see here. The trees pop. Yes, it added dimension. Yes, there's so many different techniques that we can do with embossing folders. So just like that, you could go in with colored pencils and add like brown stumps. I mean, you name it. Tons of different techniques to do with embossing folders. Just like that. See how fun that is? Even just hitting the tips of those trees with the green. Because I spent like 5 seconds on that. Let's see here. It's 3D. There's three different levels of press into it. Can't wait to see the rest of the release. I told you guys, Missy, that it's a good one. Let's see here. Wow, what a difference the inking made. Yes. So, in just like 2 seconds that took me. If I really, spent some time on it, we could make it look super fancy. Let's see what it does. Okay. See how they all popped? Pretty Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And so if you look down in here, you can see the trunks of the trees. Let me get it in the light. You can see the trunks of the trees, and you can see little spots, the lowest points, like in between the trees. But all that gorgeous texture. It's so, so pretty. Okay. Let's see. When will the nooses be? On May the 19th. Come on and hurry for the 19th. Yes, I told you it's going to be a great release. Great release. I am loving every bit of it. And you remember, we did this card tonight, but I did very basic ink blending on it, added a little bit of gel pen, but some of these others, I wish I had Lisa's here to show you. Some of these others, you take in colored pencil and ink blend them in different ways. There's even a pink owl. There's just so many different fun things that you can do to dress them up to make them look pretty. Or you can totally go with just solid colored cardstock and layer him together and still have a gorgeous owl. Like the dies do all the work for you. They really, really do. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. Oh, we have to wait. Yes, the 19th. I'm terrible. I missed it. I missed that one. Let's see, where can you get the blend? You can get it at honeybeestamps.com. Love that the frame can double as a bag topper. Oh, it sure could if you bent it over. Oh, you can't. I'm not split there. Yep, if you, who was it? Somebody just made a really good point. Yep, you could use it as a gift bag topper. Just fold it in half and stamp a cute sentiment on this. Probably not with the trees. Maybe a masculine gift with the trees would be really pretty at Christmas time, I do have to say. Like a gift bag topper at Christmas and ink blend the green trees and then add the person's name. Whoever that is, you've got a really good idea there. The release is available on May the 19th, right after our release party. That's right. We're going to come here, do a release party on the 19th at the same time, same place. We'll put out all the reminders, and then I'll go through the entire release, show you all the samples that I have. I've got a ton of samples. In fact, I had to hide them all so you guys can't see them tonight because that would be giving away too much. But I hope you guys are as excited as I am and as Lisa and Melissa are about this release. All right. Glue. Somebody said glitter. Yes, you could do all kinds of things with all of this stuff. It's so fun. All right, you guys, it is time for our giveaway. And as I always say, right before release time, that it is the perfect time to have a giveaway because you can save it up and use it for the release. All right, Lisa's going to let us know our winner this evening. And then I will be back. Yellow eyes. Yes, you could do yellow eyes. I'll be back on Wednesday night with another sneak peek. All right, the winner is Ellen Kittag. I can't say your name. Kittagawa, I believe. Ellen, you're the winner. So if you'll email me, Ellen, at the email address here, Kelley, Kelley, at honeybeestamps.com, I will send you your prize. Congratulations. Thanks for joining me. You're not going to want to miss Wednesday night. So if you're excited about what we're showing you so far, don't miss Wednesday night's live. I'll put out reminders again. Thank you, everyone, for joining me, and I'll see you Wednesday. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.